Welcome back. You're right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show indeed. And this morning, my friend, we are talking about how we can feel good from the inside. One of the most incredible ways is by going to a therapist. And we got somebody here who has 35 years experience and has honestly helped so many people get to the best version of themselves. But this morning, we're doing so by celebrating her brand new book, The Joy of Being Wrong. And I told you earlier on that we had nice things for you, all in the name of getting to know this beautiful lady, Claudia de Vimes. And I tell you, my friend, we have a copy to give away. So listen to this. To get your copy, you are welcome to pop through an email to claudiadevimes@gmail.com, right? But then that's not all, because we are giving you that beautiful opportunity to enter and hopefully take away a signed copy from Claudia. And my friend, all you have to do is head on over to our Expresso Show pages on social media and follow the following question, or rather answer the following question. How do you think embracing the idea of not always being right can give you more joy in your life? Let us know and head on over to @Expresso Show on social media. And friend, terms and conditions always apply. You can find them on expressoshow.com. But all the best, because I'm hoping you're going to be able to win yourself this beautiful book. Right about now, though, we're jumping on into Relationship Tuesday with Claudia. And Claudia, I need to ask you, in terms of relationships and just talking about them, you know, do you generally find that a lot of couples always just want to be right?
Absolutely. Relationships can be summed up as a power struggle, unfortunately. Most couples spend so much time finding a need to, someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong.
Yes.
And so people don't even think rationally if that's really what they believe, but they feel, especially women today, who feel they have to assert themselves very quickly because of the past history. Women feel they've got to be tough and they've got to be smart and they've got to act in a way where they immediately have to have a sense of power.
Yes.
And so too many relationships are fraught with tension about who's right and who's wrong.
Sure.
In fact, if you have an adult relationship, being wrong is not about being weak. It's actually a great sense of relief and humility.
Yes, and I mean, I feel like the Expresso Show family was even talking about how it can allow for a deeper connection to happen, actually.
Yes.
So then can you talk to us just about how the need to be right affects communication negatively? You know, where does it actually get us to?
Well, if you've got a predetermined idea in your mind, and you and I start dating, and you've already decided that I'm going to be a certain way, that men are a certain way.
Yes.
You already are acting in a tough way. You might have bravado. You might not want me to know how you feel. You've already made a decision about me that's not me. And you're not going to give me a chance to actually respond to you.
Yes.
So it means that you're guarded and that you already are on the back foot. And so anything I say, you'll be defensive about rather than open to.
Sure.
And so people don't realize that when they meet another person, they have a huge predetermined idea that they stick to and that they're not actually very open.
Yeah.
And that's why relationships have such a difficulty after the initial honeymoon, where people are excited and pheromones and lust and all those great feelings.
Yes.
Then you very soon think, uh-oh, I've had this argument before, I've heard these words before, I'm not feeling so good anymore.
Yes.
And that's usually what happens in relationships.
Sure, and I mean, I guess it takes a little bit of a sense of vulnerability to be able to get to those deeper connections.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit just about how you think, you know, admitting you're wrong can foster vulnerability and even trust in a relationship? How do we get there?
First of all, I just want to clarify that vulnerability is a powerful emotion and it's actually not used correctly. People mistake vulnerability for exposure.
Sure.
So vulnerability is, I want you to know how I feel. So if I say to you, Zanele, I'm really not used to asking for help, and I'm feeling very anxious about trusting you, that's called vulnerability. I've wanted you to know how I feel. Now, in that moment, if you choose to say something negative against me, that really isn't me. That means that you're not a good person.
Sure.
But the fact that I've opened up to you and told you that I don't know how to trust gives me and you an opportunity for us to go down a very different road. So it's a great sign of strength, actually, to be vulnerable.
That's incredible. And the way you just put it, Claudia, I mean, I feel like I might have heard it somewhere along my life, but the way that you just put it, because I think you just, you made it almost seem like it's accessible, that I can actually say, hey, it's difficult for me to trust you.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. The other important point is if we speak from a child's perspective, then we say things like, I don't want this, or why are you doing this? I call it teapot language.
Okay.
Why are you being like this? You're never nice to me. But when you speak as an adult and say, you know, it was quite hurtful, you didn't call me on my birthday.
Yeah.
Or wow, I really miss you that you've been working all these nights. You see, there's no accusation.
Yes.
And if there's no blame, then people actually can become quite intimate. But most couples use the blame scenario because they don't want the other person to see them in a weak state.
Yeah.
And that's, again, the strength versus weakness element that comes in all the time.
Sure, that's so powerful. And there are people who didn't call me for my birthday. I'm gonna deal with them, and I'm gonna use exactly what you just said, Claudia.
So you just say, I am disappointed you didn't call me. I would have loved to have heard from you.
Yes.
See, it's not an accusation, but it's an ownership. It's an ownership of feelings, which is actually the most important thing. Ownership versus blame.
Claudia, I feel like you are equipping us today. And this is why I want to jump into this question, because I feel like sometimes people just rush to apologize.
Yes.
They don't actually take the time to understand what exactly it is that they made the other person feel, or whatever it may be that happened. Talk to us a little bit, please, about, you know, the difference between apologizing and actually taking time to understand.
Well, I think it goes back to what we've just said. If I say to you, tell me how you feel, and you say, I feel quite disappointed. I felt that you didn't make enough effort for me.
Yes.
I can say to you, I'm sorry I let you down. Because you've told me how I feel.
Yeah.
When we don't know what we're apologizing for, then it's a case of just getting the mess out of the way, which people prefer to do. Sorry can mean nothing. I prefer a question like, in what way have I let you down?
Yes.
In what way have I hurt you? In what way do you feel disappointed?
Sure.
And it's a simple question, but a very profound one.
I love that. Claudia, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And I'm so glad you're not going anywhere, because there's a part 2 to this.
Good.
And my beautiful Expresso family, this is why we want you to come and be a part of the conversation. It is all about where we are asking you, do you think that constantly trying to be right about everything in a relationship can cause tension? Or do you believe it's important to always stand your ground, and why? At Expresso Show is where you can find us. And remember, you can also send us that voice note, 063-408-8863. Right about now, my friend, I'm here to let you in on the fact that you do need to stick around. Why? What is the reason? Well, my lovely, I do know that coming on up, we're going to be getting into your answers in terms of that. And also, there's still a whole lot more just to be able to wrap up the show. Stick around. You're still on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It's a Relationship Tuesday here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we've been having such a beautiful conversation about the joy of being wrong, my friend. Hey, when sometimes you are wrong and you must admit it, okay? But we're finding out how we can empower ourselves in doing so with the incredible Claudia de Vimes. And friend, not only is her book the one in terms of finding out how you can do that exactly, but it is also us getting to sit down and have this conversation where we've been asking you, do you believe that, you know, sometimes always wanting to be right in a relationship can cause tension? Or are you that person who says, you know what, actually, I do also need to stand my ground? And thank you so much for coming through. We love getting to see your comments on our beautiful Expresso Show pages. And first and foremost, I want to shout out Namabana, who says, good morning to our awesome Expresso teams. I think constantly wanting to be right in a relationship can create tension, but it's also important to stand your ground when necessary. It's all about finding a balance and communicating effectively. Boitumelo came through as well and said, good morning, my wonderful Expresso family. There will definitely be tension, especially when you don't understand each other, or maybe you're trying to get to know each other. But learning from your partner with patience and great ethics of having respect and being humble can create good vibes in your love boat. Ha! Sana, you guys are taking out your inner Claudias. You are the therapist today as well. I love that, Expresso Show family. And today, Claudia, I think that you've already just provided so much insight. And I love it in terms of us just really trying to strike a balance, like we heard from one of our viewers. But I want to jump into this because I feel like, you know, sometimes we can believe that saying I'm wrong is, you know, taking the high road and possibly not necessarily respecting yourself. You know, you almost feel like your sense of self isn't necessarily being put first. So how can we strike that balance in terms of having humility, but also having that self-respect when we're saying, I'm wrong?
Well, there's two different levels. The one is that being wrong I was wrong that you, I presumed you wouldn't come through and you did, is my presumption, okay? So on a deeper level, I have to own the fact that I've made presumptions and that I am wrong about my presumptions.
Yeah.
What a lot of people talk about in terms of being wrong and needing to stand their ground is about assertiveness. And a lot of people feel that when they say, okay, I was wrong to ask you to come with my friends. I was wrong to ask you to come home earlier from work and help me bath the children.
Yeah.
I was wrong to do that. That's on a different level. That's more about a lack of assertiveness because you really do feel that there are things that are important to you.
Yeah.
So let's not confuse being wrong, which is about when people say, I want to stand my ground. Assertiveness is not about standing your ground and being in fear.
Yeah.
Assertiveness can actually be quite gentle. When people say, I want to stand my ground, it means that they're already on the back foot.
Okay.
So assertiveness can be very quiet and very gentle. It means you know how you feel. So you say to somebody, I know you work late at night, and I know you can't come with me to my cousin's wedding. It's difficult for me to go on my own, and I understand. Now, that is an assertive statement because I'm not pretending that I'm not upset, and I am owning my feeling. Being wrong, in my context of the book, is mostly about your inner presumptions that you've grown up with.
Yeah.
That sometimes you'll be private about. Not everybody will know that you are allowing yourself to be wrong by trying to do something in a different way. Like, one of my clients always had a car accident, and she just had a thing about car accidents.
Yeah.
And her husband used to phone and say, now what have you done about the car? And she said to me, you see, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And one day he phoned her, she phoned and said, I've bashed the car. And he said, are you okay? And she said, you see, he doesn't care. And I said, well, actually, he did ask you now, are you okay?
Yes.
She was so used to not hearing him being caring.
Sure.
That she didn't hear him. And that's when she turned around and said, I'm wrong. He actually can be a caring person when I let him.
Yeah.
So that's the deeper level I'm talking about presumptions.
Yeah.
Not so much about the other, more superficial level about being wrong.
I love that. And Claudia, I feel like, sometimes when we hear the word wrong, we associate it with failure.
And weakness.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
So can you talk to us just about how we can actually create a safe space in a relationship to almost make it known and understood that it's not a failure, but rather just it's something that happens to us as humans. We can be wrong. How can we make it a place where we really have just those conversations where it can be safe?
Well, the first thing is to know what your intention is.
Okay.
So if your intention is to find a parent who's going to look after you, you're going to get into trouble because you're going to be a child.
Sure.
Okay. And a lot of people are looking for parents. They want someone to look after them financially. They want someone to tell them what to do. They want someone just to make it okay and safe for them.
Yeah.
But that's a parent-child relationship. The best intention is to have two adults who are both willing to be responsible, to have a sense of ownership, and in that way take it slowly by saying, this is new for me. I don't really understand this, but I'm willing to explore it with you. And so for me, an adult intention is everything. And most relationships that I come across are parent-child, where one is the parent and one is the child, and then it flips. And those are the relationships that have the most awkwardness, the most power struggles, and the most difficulty.
That's crazy. Because I don't think I've ever looked at it like that. Yes.
It's the most common.
Sure. And Claudia, I feel like, just in terms of us and admitting that we're wrong in relationships, it can be something that's difficult to do. But, once you do it, it's empowering, like I said before, but I think that then it's a muscle that you then start to almost exercise.
Absolutely. And a lot of people in relationships will turn around and say, it was so simple. I apologized, I said it was wrong, he said it was fine, she said it was fine, and we moved on. And it's an awkward moment when you start doing it, but when you realize that you haven't lost anything, you're not losing your sense of strength, that it's not about being weak. That's about saying to the world, I thought I had it all figured out, but guess what? I'm still figuring it out along the way, and I will. Right until the day I leave.
Come on.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness. And Claudia, I feel like right now is where it's the perfect time to ask, as we wrap things up, can you think of a past time in a relationship where admitting you were wrong led to a positive outcome?
Yes. I said quite honestly, I said to my late husband, I was wrong letting you call the shots and telling me that you couldn't have somebody else caring for you.
Sure.
And I'm going to employ somebody else because I need it physically, you not coping.
Yeah.
And I think I was wrong listening to you and thinking that I was a better wife for listening to you. That was one of the pivotal moments, for sure.
And where did it, you know, kind of lead you guys to as a couple?
He was relieved.
Okay.
He was relieved. And we actually enjoyed a better relationship because I wasn't so exhausted, I wasn't so resentful, I wasn't so running around so much. I could actually give him my time as his wife. And we had an incredible person help us.
Beautiful.
And I've been wrong, you know, I moved to another country and having to get help with another language. I didn't like to have to ask for help. I like to run my own show.
Google.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and I like to be in charge. And so getting help was a huge thing for me to admit that it wasn't about being wrong only, but humility is a good thing and it stretched me. I like it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Claudia, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, firstly, for coming through and celebrating your book with us, The Joy of Being Wrong, but also just for your insight. We really do appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is Claudia de Vimes. She is the author of The Joy of Being Wrong. And my friend, once you pick up that book, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life because it's all about changing your outlook on all of these incredible ways that being wrong can empower you. Right about now, though, I need you to get ready, my friend, because we are about to be blown away by yet someone else who is doing the things in their respective industry. I am talking about Loyiso. Yes, he's going to be shutting down the show. Do not go anywhere. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back after this.
Oh,